Greetings YouTube, let's watch Justice League, because by now we've all heard the very official confirmation that the Zack Snyder cut of this film is actually happening. There have been rumours and little bits, we've had official confirmation now. I'll be honest, I'm not totally convinced that it'll be any better, because we are talking about the same guy that did Dawn of Justice, and if I'm being honest, that was a bit of a clusterfuck. The new cut of the film is apparently going to be like 4 hours, and this film's already 2 hours. You know, I mean, we're getting towards Hobbit and Lord of the Rings territory on the time limit. But we'll talk about that as we go. Let's watch this film.
Can we ask you some questions? It's for our podcast.
Well, in that case.
How many people that you saved have you saved?
Okay, so first thing, I saw this in the cinema for the first time, and when I saw him, I was thinking to myself, is that Henry Cavill? Is it? I couldn't tell it was him, because this is totally wrong. I thought it was a cosplayer in the film at first, just wearing the outfit. I didn't know it was him. And not until he started talking. And even then I was like, is it him? Is it? It can't be. Is it? I think it is, you know. I couldn't work out what was actually wrong with this gin. I like the setup of the film, this bit. Just showing off a parademon straight away, and Batman struggling a little bit.
Where does that leave us?
It leaves us with the Snyder Cut now.
Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war is so...
Music apparently by Danny Elfman. They're going to have to rescore the whole film, they say. Not surprising, seeing as how this is 2 hours and the new one's going to be 4. I expect they'll get Danny Elfman back, because there's nothing wrong with the music. I like this opening song. Even though I feel like this whole thing is unearned, this opening. I mean, Superman dead is the fault of the previous film, which is a Zack Snyder film, Dawn of Justice. And that film was just a massive clusterfuck of all sorts of stuff. And why they felt the need to kill Superman off like that is completely beyond me. I don't want to get into that though, to be honest. I could go on all day about it. Ugh.
Before it blows, everybody knows.
Zack Snyder says that about a quarter of the final film was as he envisioned. So mostly, apparently, the studio, possibly. I know Joss Whedon came in at the 11th hour to take over because Zack Snyder had a whole family thing. But yeah, again, if he's allowed to do the whole thing, then again, Dawn of Justice, you know. How long was she standing on that statue before an emergency happened? Did she just happen to be up there?
The lasso of Hestia compels you to reveal the truth. Now, who...
The first of many, for some reason, Wonder Woman arse shots. I know it's not an arse shot, a pants shot, shall we say. I don't know why this film is obsessed with it. Well, I'm saying... Stupid question. It just...
Back to the Dark Ages and the safety of Holy Fair.
If you wanted that bomb to go off, why did you put a 20-second timer on it? I'm poking holes in it already.
I don't believe it. What are you?
A believer.
I can only assume the entire side of that building was just vaporised. Either that or all the police downstairs just got showered in bricks and glass.
There are enemies coming from far away. I need warriors. I'm building an alliance.
I don't like it when films do this, when the dialogue is really quiet and the explosions and everything are very loud. So you have to turn the volume up to hear what they're saying, and then suddenly you get deafened by the next scene.
The Aquaman. I hear you can talk to fish.
See, that gag works better in the film. It was a really stupid gag at the end of that one trailer where they put it on the end. It's like, just on the tail end, it's like, really? You ended the trailer with that? It works better in context.
Will you be Bruce's teammate? Check yes or no.
I'm only interested in her skill set.
I'm sure you are.
Can we?
I like Alfred. I honestly didn't see Jeremy Irons as a good fit for it initially, but I quite like him in the role. He's just not naturally what I think of when I think Alfred.
What, you got a problem?
No, there's no problem.
Better not be.
I like the jokes he gets. The Flash is supposed to be the jokester of the group, but I do like the humorous bits they gave him to do.
For them to see the monster. You are not a monster.
It's weird that you thought I meant me.
I like Cyborg in this film. He's obviously crucial to the plot. Besides a couple of things, he doesn't do much, I must admit, but I still like him. I like his character. Not so much a fan of his armour look, initially. By the end of the film, it looks better. But I suspect that was deliberate. This is where everyone in the cinema goes, woo! We've already seen Wonder Woman at this point, after all. I will never understand why a bunch of warriors, typically female warriors, will armour themselves up in certain places and then leave bits of their arms and legs and torso completely exposed. Those women have some serious muscle. Okay, are they now locked in there? Like forever? Isn't it weird how the axe can cut a molten path through solid rock and yet it just bats the Amazon full body to the ground? I'm nitpicking again. It's a comic book movie, you can't be bloody and gory, God forbid. Aren't Amazons supposed to be tougher than that? Can they just be squashed dead by a horse? I feel like they shouldn't be.
Well, I can hardly read the news anyway. So much bitterness. Of course, I think it's all because he's gone.
Yes, I'm sure everyone's bitter about losing the alien that smashed half a city to rubble. Because Dawn of Justice, but before that, Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel. I did. Not everyone did, but I did. But that still happened. I know that Cyborg has alien tech, but seriously, does the Batcave not have CCTV? Are its cameras really accessible via the interweb? I feel like that's a mistake.
They called him Steppenwolf, the end of worlds.
Flashback. And of course that photo is very similar to the photo that Zack Snyder has tweeted of Darkseid. It's a very blurry image, but nevertheless. Again, this film doesn't need more shit jammed in it. I feel like Zack Snyder is making the same mistake he did with Dawn of Justice, just jamming more and more and more stuff. This film doesn't need Darkseid.
acted as one, laying down their lives to drive Steppenwolf away.
So now, one of the reasons that Steppenwolf shows up on Earth, at least according to the trailer, and I'm assuming the Zack Snyder cut as well, is because this planet has, among other things, no Green Lanterns. I'm no expert on Green Lanterns or DC comic stuff, but isn't Earth in a particular sector of space in the universe, and isn't every sector of space assigned a Green Lantern?
That feels like an oversimplification.
I'm putting together a team. People with special abilities. You see, I believe enemies are coming.
Stop right there. I'm in.
See, again, this is another scene that works better in context. In the trailer, with the particular music they were playing, it felt really weird to me. It's like the music didn't really fit the scene, and maybe these were the only scenes they had at the time, but it felt really off. It works better here again.
What are your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
I like this film had more jokes. Because the previous films were very dark, very drab, very... way too serious for comic book films.
Looks like you have a date, Miss Prince. About time somebody here did.
Again, Alfred jokes. Wonder Woman arse shot. Keeps doing it. I'll give DC one thing, they managed to make Aquaman cool. Which isn't an easy character to make cool, because he's had so much derision over the years. Let's take a moment to recognise the fact that, besides Superman, Mera is the only one who manages in this entire film to knock Steppenwolf on his ass.
Took a hell of a hit.
I'm not entirely sure why Mera bothers doing this, because, I mean, as being native underwater people, Lanteans wouldn't need air to talk to each other. It's a mistake that Aquaman, the film, corrected. Parademons will take on the Batman. They won't take on a pane of glass.
Cleanse this world for the unity for Darkseid.
See, I was happy with just a Darkseid reference. I didn't need the guy to show up, and I mean, maybe now it doesn't matter so much because the film's been out. We've had other films since then. I just think it's unnecessary.
Find the cyborg?
We spoke.
Wonder Woman arse shot. Do you know, people said that there were music cues from Batman and Superman in this film, and I didn't see the Batman one at first. There was one there. I think there's one later on as well. Another Batman music cue.
Jesus, he is tall.
I like that Batman is struggling in this situation. He's the only one out of these people that that has no superpowers, that has to rely on tech. I like that he's not owning everybody in range. The only bad thing about this sequence is we've already seen Quicksilver do it in the X-Men films. Thank goodness they got rid of the cyborg visor. In one of the trailers, like something kind of helmet came round him, like his face, like Iron Man, and it just looked really stupid. Is that him doing that or the Trident? I'm just curious.
Just like a bat. I dig it.
Maybe temporary.
See, that joke worked in both the trailers and the film. Again, exactly why have the parademons not gone into this house already? It's not as if the walls are keeping them out.
Like a bat cave.
Flash is probably the best thing in this film. Not only in terms of his humour, but also in terms of his action sequences.
Even if there's a fraction of a chance.
The what? That we could raise a monster, like Luthor did?
We have tech Luthor's never even seen.
Superman is dead.
And which film's fault is that? Dawn of Justice. Who directed Dawn of Justice? Oh yeah, Zack Snyder. Again, I'm not a fan of packing everything in. I mean, Dawn of Justice is the main reason why I'm not exactly enamoured of Zack Snyder doing this, you know, this reshoot.
I don't like the idea of reintegrating with the mother box. But I was running the numbers while you were being an asshole, and there is a high probability that we can bring him back.
I like Cyborg. Did I say that already? I think I said that already.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Security was only on the main gate and nowhere else. Unless, of course, that was what was cut from the original version.
This must be the end of the line, so I'm...
Actually, I think there's a bit of corridor left. I'm just saying. Awesome special effect, but why does he have to charge it when it hits the water?
Tell me who you...
I'm assuming that this is DC's equivalent of Civil War. Or at least as close as they're gonna get to it. By the way, this scene is awesome. Flash has all the best scenes in this film. I think I might be mistaken, but I think I just heard a Superman cue.
Yeah. Oh, something is definitely bleeding.
Even Batman gets a gag or two in this film.
The mother box. He has the last one.
Yeah, you guys just kind of forgot about that, huh? After spending half the film talking about nothing but.
Steppenwolf's going to be keeping them somewhere where they don't read. No internet, no satellite coverage.
I want to know what that rock she's using to sharpen that sword's made out of.
You know you can't do this forever.
I can barely do it now.
On the contrary, everyone thought he made a bloody good Batman. Of course, from what I understand, he isn't anymore. Is it Robert Pattinson? Robert Pattinson? I don't know how to pronounce his name now.
No dying. And I get the exclusive.
Yes, ma'am.
Ew, his smile is weird. CGI. I think he was doing one of the Mission Impossible films. One of the ones that I haven't seen.
Praise to the mother of horrors.
There's a lot of CG in this film. If this film is going to be twice as long, go from 2 hours to 4 hours, it's going to cost them a lot. I think sort of initial estimates are like $30 million. It's probably going to break that though. They're effectively talking about rebuilding the whole damn film. They may as well try to make a whole new film. It's pretty much what they're doing. Jesus, Alfred, Doc!
Hey, you know what? I don't want to die. I'm young. There's shit that I want to do. I just feel like I never really embraced the sea or the land.
I'll be honest, I kind of questioned Jason Momoa's casting as Aquaman, because I thought, on the one hand, it's Jason Momoa. He has a very recognisable look. So when I look at him, I'm not going to see Aquaman, I'm going to see Jason Momoa. On the other hand, nobody's going to give him shit for being Aquaman. Nobody's going to dare. There was a Batman theme there, I just heard the back end of it. I think I just heard another bit of it. The sneaking bits in, or Danny Elfman sneaking bits of it in. Danny Elfman wrote that theme, he has the right to.
You're welcome.
Yeah! See, all of that bit was cool. That was really cool.
So your genius move is dying. You really are out of your mind.
I'm not the one who brought a pitchfork.
Batman joke. A bat joke. Obviously, with all the superpowered people on screen, it's a bit tricky to pay attention to anything cool Batman does, but that was cool. Batman's using a gun. Actually, I don't care all that much. How did you know that would make the bridge collapse and do absolutely nothing else whatsoever?
You're all too weak to see the truth.
Well, I believe in truth.
Superman music cue. And that's why they resurrected him. Although, to be fair, it was the previous film that killed him off.
Well, I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me. I don't. Not.
See, I kind of like the interaction, but again, I feel like it's unearned. Given the events of the previous film where they hated each other's guts and tried to kill one another.
Slowpoke.
Oh, it's on.
Again, jokes. Jokes in a DC film. At this point, that was unheard of. In the animations, in the animated stuff, yeah, sure. See, in Man of Steel, every time a Kryptonian punched another Kryptonian, they went flying through the wall. Well, they didn't go flying through that wall. They went flying through that wall, and that wall, and that wall, and that wall, and the next 57 walls. It made it very difficult to keep up with the action, to be honest. I like that when Superman hits Steppenwolf, it's usually him, let's be honest, and slams him into a wall here, Steppenwolf isn't flying through it. The action is confined to the same space. I like that. You can keep track of what's going on. Freeze breath! Can I ask, who is activating the boom tubes? It was my understanding that a boom tube could be activated by a mother box, except that Steppenwolf turns up on Earth and he hasn't got the mother boxes yet, so I'm assuming that the first mother box calls him in. I'm assuming the Amazonian mother box summons him in. So how did he get off planet there?
Booyah.
Cyborg said booyah.
Glad I didn't miss this.
So am I.
Yeah. Now she's glad.
Bat joke. Also, why are they so pleased at alien flora spreading all over the place? How do they know some of it isn't toxic or poisonous or will overrun the local ecosystem? I wouldn't be looking quite so pleased at that kind of thing.
How did you get the house back from the bank?
I bought the bank.
I like that Batman can surprise Superman. Or Bruce Wayne can surprise Clark Kent. I bought a bank.
Big round table. 6 chairs. Right there.
But room for more.
No. I honestly don't know why people have a problem with this film. I mean, I can see why people would have a problem with Man of Steel, because the civilian kill count was probably through the roof, and yeah, Superman could easily have led Zod away during that final fight rather than fighting inside the city where everybody else is. It's one of the reasons why in Dawn of Justice they go to, you know, the port and it's like abandoned, because of course it is. Nice touch. I like that bit.
Come together right now over me.
I like this version of the song. I know it's a Beatles track, but I like this rock and roll version. I still think it's a good film. I still don't know why anybody feels like it needs to be corrected in any way. I mean, I will admit, it doesn't feel as epic as you think it should feel. You know what I mean? I mean, these are 6 of the Justice League's heaviest hitters in one way or another, and you feel like, yeah, you feel like the film somehow isn't big enough. It's a bit difficult to put your finger on exactly. It's a bit difficult for me to put my finger on exactly why. Maybe the Snyder Cut will fix that. Maybe it won't. I'm not holding my breath though. Not crossing my fingers. I am dubious on that. I mean, this is apparently going to air on HBO Max over in America. No idea what's going to happen over here in Britain. Knowing my luck, they'll release it on bloody Netflix, which I haven't got. Some talk that instead of a 4-hour epic film, you know, like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, they might separate it into episodes instead. I don't know.
He and his odd little friends are forming some sort of league.
Deathstroke. He looks awesome in that armor, by the way.
To put it plainly, shouldn't we have a league of our own?
And I always thought that he was bad casting for... I know... Is it that he's the original Lex Luthor's son? Or some shit? I don't know. Or if he's the original Lex Luthor. Either way, he doesn't come across as very Lex Luthor. And I'm glad that that bit, at least, went nowhere. Because it seems they're focusing on individual films. Okay, I think I'm done rabbiting now about that particular film. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe and share, all that jazz. See you next time.